This is the OMFL.
You can't touch this.
And you're in the mix with Kinda Real Nate. Here's another OMFL production.
All right, we're going to cut that intro just a little short here and get you straight to this defensive FPR video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm the commissioner and founder of the OMFL and the Grown Folks Online community, Nate, and I appreciate you checking us out. If you're checking us out, you're either new here or brushing up on your FPR, and we appreciate that. If you kind of lost, you can go to our website, grownfolksoc.com, hit forums. You'll see these forums here. You hit fair play rules and regulations underneath the OMFL forum. That'll bring you to this page here, and here you can find your new member packet. You can find the quiz that you need to respond to, and then all the different rules of the FPR that we have here. I've explained why we use FPR. I've explained the philosophy. I've explained all that in previous videos, so go check out either the general FPR or the offensive FPR, but you're at the defensive FPR. I want to go through this really, really quick. I'm going to try to just explain why we do some of the things that we do and our philosophy behind things. Again, we talked about the philosophy really in the offensive FPR, so go check that out if you are confused by what we mean, by what you see here. But basically, the main rule is mix it up, mix it up, mix it up. Don't do anything excessively. Run the play as called most of the time. And don't get so caught up in winning that you kind of... You lose yourself a little bit here, and you disrespect your opponent. It's much easier to just take your loss on the play, on the game. You'll get another game. You'll get another opportunity. We're a no-switch league. This means when the ball is in the air, you're not allowed to switch on defense. After the ball is caught, or if it's a run, you can switch immediately. You may switch after a ball has been tipped and try to make a play. And if you move... whatever player you are at the snap, you have to stay as that player until the ball is caught, handed off, or the quarterback breaks the line of scrimmage or gets to a hash line. So either hash line or the line of scrimmage, kind of outside of that box, that offensive line box, you can switch and go make a play. Play calling, coach suggestion, and concepts are not allowed. Learn your playbook. It's not difficult, right? Those plays tend to call the same plays over and over and over, and we want you to learn your playbook. Whatever, when we talk about zone, man, blitz, it's whatever label is on the actual play call screen. So it labels them as one of those three, and that's what we go by whenever we're talking about these types of plays. A base 3-4 or 4-3 must be most of your formations for at least 50% of your play calls. Cannot run a nickel or a dime or what's the other one? A dollar defense. You can't run any of those as a main defense. A 4-4, a 4-6, a 5-3. Those are not main defenses. You can mix those formations in. You can use those formations, but a majority of your play calls needs to come from the different 3-4 or 4-3 formations that we have access to, which is why you're encouraged to create a custom book or find you a nice thick book that has a lot of plays in it so you can mix it up. Formations that you select should correlate to what they're selecting on the other side. Now, here's what you can't do. You can't use that on offense to force the guy on defense to do a specific thing, right? If you come out in 3 wide and he wants to play you in a 3-4 or 4-3, he's at a disadvantage. You can't come out in a 3 wide so that you can run the ball and then complain that he's in a 4-3 or 3-4 to stop the run when all you got to do is audible to a pass, right? And so this is a rule of thumb put in place to keep guys from playing nickel, dime, and dollar defenses against a normal offensive set. That's the heart of the rule. Anything outside of that is taking things out of context and using the rules to control what the other guy is doing. That's not the reason this rule is here, and you should know that. Excessive use of either man or zone, more than 70%. So if you're doing more than 70% zone, more than 70% man, you're going to get a talking to. You need to mix it up more than that. Keep that thing as close to 50-50 as you can. It's not too difficult. It gets wonky when you add in blitzes. We're not going to ever require people to blitz, and that affects percentages. So if you just called man and zone, if you didn't blitz, that percentage needs to be closer to 50-50. But we also understand if you're in a blowout, you're probably going to play more zone than man. So we give some leeway, and these rules don't always tell about the context of a game. But if you're playing every single game 70% zone, you're doing it wrong, and you need to mix it up better, and you're going to have a conversation with us. This is just kind of like the super max limit is 70%. Defensive play calling rules do not apply inside the 5-yard line in less than 3 minutes. And this kind of goes with the calling things back to back, or calling all zone, or calling all man, because we know inside the 5, play calling is limited for both offense and defense, and in the last 2 minutes of each half, like Hail Mary type situations, play callings are pretty limited. We're not trying to put you in a bad position. Caution plays that you should not abuse, that can easily be abused, are 8 in the box. It's basically one safety high. If you are confused by that, just hit me up. I can explain that. Those are normally found in a 4-4, a 4-6, or a cover 3, or a cover 1. Those 4 types of plays will usually put one safety high. You should avoid that. You should mix that up, or you should man a line and get those safeties to go back where they are. Cover 2 zone is another play that we see abused. The reason I think it's abused is because Madden, the last few Maddens, allows that play. It allows those cornerbacks to follow the receiver all the way up the field. So if they run a streak, which should burn a cover 2, that cornerback, if there's no flat zone, he'll continue to follow that all the way up. So that cover 2 turns into a cover 3, a cover 4 type of play. And it makes that play really powerful. And so guys over abuse that play. It should be avoided. Zone blitzes. You can run a zone blitz. Don't run all zone blitzes. Mix in a man blitz if you're going to blitz. Mix in different types of blitzes. Don't be calling blitzes back to back. Don't be calling the same types of plays back to back. Mix it up. And then crashing the line of scrimmage with the safety right at the snap of the football. We find this in any kind of zone concept when people are playing as the safety. If you hold the L1 at the snap and that's a run play, that player will automatically crash regardless of their awareness. We want to avoid that. If you're in a zone, then there should be a step or two or a no movement for a second or two before you come and recognize it's a run and make a play. We're just trying to keep guys from being safeties and basically having an extra linebacker in the box every play and crashing every play. Just mix it up and be cautious about how often you do that. Hot routing all the linebackers to all blitz. That's a hot route option. That's totally banned and should never be used. If you want to all-out blitz, you need to call that play. You must rush 3 defenders at all times. Run the play as designed. Cover the area as designed. There's a video here that came out from Zan a couple years ago that kind of explains the areas that these colors are supposed to cover. The only time this is a little bit lax is if I'm covering the middle of the field and you overload that side of the field and all of those players run to the other side. It doesn't, like, if there's nobody for me to cover on the other side of the field, I don't have to stay in my zone. I can kind of follow that drag route. I can follow that slant route. Now, if there's 2 slant routes, right, then I should follow the inside till it gets out of my zone and then back off and get back in my zone and cover the other slant route. It's just for plays that take all the players out of one zone. You're not forced to sit there. That's a little gray area. If you're confused, we can definitely talk about it. Man coverage, you should cover the man that you're covered to. If you're covering a running back or a fullback, and that guy does not go out on a route and stays in to protect, you can blitz or you can play a short zone, right? And that doesn't mean you get to run all the way 50 yards down the field, but if you want to cover a short zone, you're allowed to do that. Again, go watch this video if you're confused by what zone that you should be covering. I'm not going to go through this. I'm going to let this kind of do its own thing. It's not super confusing. We're trying to keep players from going out and getting, 88 plus speed middle linebackers and covering 45 yards of the field from sideline to sideline. Just super unrealistic stuff that humans couldn't do. There's the gray area that we talked about. Pre-snap, you're allowed to manually move one player, and if you manually move that player, you have to stay as that player. It explains where you can bring them. Can't bring safeties into the linebacker box. Linebackers can't leave that box. You're excessive use of show blitz should not happen. Run commit is only allowed in 3 yards or less. And if the user quick snaps you, then your no switch is voided, and you can switch. You can't switch when it's in the air, but you can switch players and go do what you got to do, right? Because he quick snapped you. Here's the big change for Madden 20, and that's pre-snap adjustments. We used to allow 3, and then went to 2, and now we're down to 1 because guys are just abusing it and sketching up their own plays. On the defensive side of the ball, you're allowed 1 change or adjustment per play. If you're in no huddle, you're allowed 2. So no huddle 2, normal plays 1. Play the sticks is not a change. So if you do I want you to play the sticks in a zone or in a man defense to protect that first down, that's not a change or adjustment. Pressing or backing off the DBs, not a change or adjustment. Flipping the coverage, flipping the play, not a change or adjustment on defense. If you're just trying to realign your players to cover because he comes out, if you don't have the auto flip play and he comes out, loaded on one side, you want to flip that. That's not a change or adjustment. You can do that. A change or adjustment is hot routing a man or a player for their zone or man, like just hot routing that player to a new adjustment. That's an adjustment. Defensive line and linebacker pinching and sliding. So moving the linebackers or sliding the defensive line. Now, you cannot do both. I think we'll get to that here in just a minute. You cannot do both on the same play. You cannot move the line and the linebackers on the same play. You either got to do one or the other, and you shouldn't do an adjustment to the line and the linebackers every play, right? If you do one, if the linebackers are the defensive line, that's your one adjustment. Can't do both. You can only do one. Say that again. You cannot do both. You can only do one. A pinch or an adjustment, a slide is an adjustment. An audible, that's an adjustment. And a quarterback spy is an adjustment. So if my man is in man coverage and I want him to quarterback spy, that's my one adjustment for that play. Again, we're just trying to keep guys from sketching up their own play, confusing the AI, and doing all kinds of really weird stuff. So if you're confused by this, hit me up. But a majority of your plays, 55% of your plays should be ran as called. Most of your plays should not have adjustments. It's pretty simple, and there may be some adjustments to that as we go. If you're watching this, make sure that you go back and rewatch the play because rewatch the play. Listen to me. Reread the rules again because there may be of adjustments that I haven't updated this video since. So just scan the rules and make sure. That's it for our defensive FPR. Have a great week. God bless you. Peace.